welcome to the call.
Yeah, welcome everybody. We're very excited for the Sales Mastery Virtual Bootcamp, and sales is just something that we believe very strongly in. It's not really about the sales. It's about really transforming lives and serving people and making a difference. And it just so happens that learning this formula that we're teaching you and all this material that we've put together, it's just the best way that we believe is to serve other people and really help them or give them the most value possible. And that's so important to us because we're all about transforming lives. So very exciting.
And I'm excited to share with you this picture of our family there, which is the most important thing to us as far as our opportunity to give back and to also just be able to have the flexibility so that we can do what we want, with whom we want, when we want. And truly, we believe that sales mastery is more along the lines of what it is that you can do to improve and enhance your ability to influence others, the potential impact that you can have to your clients and the impact that you can have in your own life and in the people that you care about most, as well as we're talking about sales. So let's go ahead and throw in income as well, as we're going to share with you some of the strategies that Robin and I have figured out how to master to get what we believe is a phenomenal quality of life, and we want to share with you as well. And this is a virtual boot camp that we're going to go through that is, we think, a better program than what we've done with our 2-day live event that we called Sales Mastery. And part of the reason for that is we believe you're going to be able to apply some of the things that you learn on each one of our content calls. We'll go over all the structure today so you understand exactly what to expect. But week to week, you're going to be able to apply things, and then we're going to also schedule some Q&A calls so we can get some feedback from you on how it's actually working in your life, like the true life application, so that we can help you improve along the way. So we're really excited about this virtual boot camp, and I'll just go ahead and remind everybody that this is a 5-week virtual boot camp training. And, to tell you a little bit about Robin and I, we have an international training company where we have focused on helping people, like this is showing a little icon for our shortcuts to help people shake their moneymaker. Like, our vision has been to help people find that way to capture more sales and more grow their business so that they can attract the quality of life that they really want. And our program's called Business Mastery Academy. This is just one part of it as far as the virtual boot camp. And again, it's very exciting for us to share this with you because we believe it is the key component. There's one thing that has helped us have the quality of life we believe we live today. It's our ability to influence others and persuade others, and in a very cool way. We believe it's not about selling, but it's more about serving. So we're going to share with you all those secrets today. Honey?
And I also want you all to congratulate yourselves, because as sometimes we say in our seminars, we say people are freaky-deaky about money. And the truth is people are freaky-deaky about sales. So the fact that you stepped up and took a course about sales, not only sales but sales mastery, really shows that you are committed. You're committed to getting results. And this is really important to us when we work with people, that you have that commitment, because our ultimate purpose in life, our passion, is to help as many people as possible. And as I mentioned before, we really believe that the key is transformation. And transformation starts with getting people to take action. So you guys took action. You stepped up. You are committed. You are learning mastery. And that shows me that you are going to help so many people as well, because this is going to help you really get past all their fears. Because, how many of you have some fears around sales? Most of us do, or most of us have. It's one of those things that always comes up. So as you're breaking through these fears or these beliefs around sales and money and all that, it really is pushing through to help more people. So I really want to congratulate you for that.
Absolutely. So let me cover what we're going to discuss tonight. This is a very brief overview. First of all, with the welcome, which we've done a little bit of so far, we're going to go into the program overview so you know exactly what to expect for the 5 weeks we're going to spend together. The 7 commitments we're going to ask for each of you to commit to for yourself and for your life and for your business. We're also going to talk about what mastery really is, since we're talking about sales mastery. We'll cover that tonight. And here's probably the most important thing, in my opinion, is getting really clear about what it is that you want. We're going to delve into that. Also, sales belief systems, like Robin just mentioned, this probably has something to do with some of those sales beliefs that hold us back. So we're going to talk about those as well, so we find out what's keeping you right now from what it is that you want. And then finally, we're going to end with an action plan so you have something very direct that you can actually implement in your life right away. Anything else to add, honey?
No, babe. Keep going. You're awesome.
All right. Well, this is your slide. This is you came up with this, so here you go.
So I wish this was our little puppy, but it is another puppy. But our puppy is just as cute. She just doesn't quite know how to wink yet, but she can do a high five. As we mentioned, I think at least 5 times, we're excited, and we want to know if you're excited. And sometimes excited comes up, it seems like fear. Sometimes it shows up as nervous. But whatever it is, think about that result that you're going to get when you master sales. And I keep going back to how many lives you're going to transform. And if you're not excited yet, if you think about the outcome and ultimately who you're going to help and how many lives you can transform, then it does get exciting. And we think you're awesome. So does this puppy. So does our puppy. And we are excited to be here and excited to have you guys as well.
Well, and I will go into our program overview. I couldn't add anything there, honey, or I would have. But I'll just talk very quickly about logistically. Each of you should have printed off on the computer, and whether you're listening to this live or on the replay, you've got the dates. Basically, if you look there, our content calls or a live bootcamp calls or content calls, however you want to refer to them, will be going on once a week for 5 weeks, and the dates are there. Typically, we try to pick one day of the week in one given time, but please note, like if we have a holiday or something, I think on our 5th week, we actually have a holiday, so we moved the date a little bit. And then we've got 2 Q&A calls that we're going to do, that we are going to go ahead and take your feedback and make sure we interact. And moving forward, I'm sorry, I should be moving forward the program. And for those of you who, if for some reason you can't attend the live call, you can get the playback and recording. That information is also available on your handout, so that you should be able to see that precisely. Any questions, you can shoot us an email and let us know. We will post the information as well. We'll send you the link for all of this. We're going to have a private place where you can see it on Facebook and comment with each other. And then, Robin and I are sharing with you our personal contact information. And, we've got our own private email address for our clients only. So if you have any questions, you can post them there, or you can do so on Facebook. Robin, did you want to comment a little bit about that?
Yeah, there's a reason that we have an online forum, and it really is for not just for you to post your questions so that you get to ask us questions, but really so that you guys can interact with each other as well. And many of you might have similar questions. So you're welcome to email us, but I would prefer it, we'd definitely prefer it if you do it on the online forum, because you're going to learn so much by having the group involved as well, and also learn from each other's questions. So preferably post it on the online forum. That would be the best. Definitely, you guys are welcome to, if you have personal issues or you don't want something public, you're welcome to email us. That's the best way to reach us. We'll get back to you. We want to make sure that you guys are succeeding. We want to know how you're doing. So we love the celebrations on there, on the online forum, as well as the challenges, so we can help you move forward. So that's what that's there for. And then, of course, you can contact us if you need individual personal help.
Absolutely. So let's move into your commitments. Now, this is really, Robin and I want more than anything for this to be the coolest program that you guys have ever taken before. One that creates the greatest results you've ever had ever before, but we can't do it on our own. It's going to take your help. So one of the best ways we think that, and most important ways that we think that will at least start, is that you enjoy your time with us as much as possible. So Robin and I will do our best. What we're going to ask for you to do is to try to do your best to enjoy these calls, to pretend like we are there with you in the same room while we're leading these programs, to have fun, to remember to smile. I mean, we're going to spend 5 weeks with each other. We might as well enjoy our time together. And the truth is that the only person who's responsible for your results, as much as Robin and I might deliver the best content ever given in the history of the world, which I'm sure we will, but the truth is the result of its effectiveness is going to be your responsibility. So we're going to ask that you commit to being responsible to getting everything out of this program you can possibly get. The truth is the more you give, the more you're going to get. And to take that responsibility from this and to ask questions and to use all the resources that we have here available for you. Then also, this is a key commitment as far as you becoming flexible. And, the truth is when Robin and I talked about these commitments, what does being flexible mean? I mean, we're talking about a program around sales, around influence, around persuasion. And the truth is every time you and I meet with a potential client, a sale is made. Whether or not somebody buys or not, I mean, you're going to convince them to buy your stuff or to do whatever it is that you think is going to be in their best interest. But the person who has the most flexibility, is the most committed and has the most beliefs in their in anything is going to be the one that actually makes the sale. So sometimes it's the other person who says, you know what, I have more certainty, I have more flexibility, I'm not going to buy, and a sale is made. And we want you to challenge yourself to be very open and flexible, and with what we share with you, that you try to figure out a way to apply it to your circumstance and situation. Anything you want to add here, honey?
You can keep going through these, and then I will add at the end.
Okay, there we go.
So
commitment number 4 is to be a team player. And this is another commitment that we asked you to kind of, it maybe is a new life challenge for you to consider. I mean, what we're assuming from everybody on this call, in fact, I'm pretty confident you wouldn't be here if it weren't the case, that being a team player means that it's not about convincing everybody to buy your product or your service. It's about trying to, and we'll talk about what we believe sales really is, but it's about making sure that it's a match, that you're trying to find out if you can serve someone else. And being a team player means that you're treating yourself and, your product, your service, from a caring place. Nothing is going to replace in sales. We could teach you all these great sales strategies and closing strategies, but nothing will replace influence the true caring that you have for another human being. So we're just going to ask that you commit to using the strategies that we share with you ethically, morally, and to serve as much as possible. And you wouldn't be here if that weren't the case. Number 5 is we want you to celebrate your progress. Sometimes you're going to go out and try to apply something, or someone's going to tell you no, or you're going to try something and it's not going to work. But that is still progress. We're going to ask that you celebrate and commit to celebrating your steps along the way. And I'll share with you very briefly about this plugging in thing. Let me ask you guys a question. This is rhetorical, so you don't have to answer, on this recorded line. But what happens if you don't plug in your phone or your computer? What's going to happen to it? And I'll share with you, quite frankly, I know this firsthand. They go dead. I just had this happen to me today. I lost my cell phone charge. It went dead. And here's the truth about you and the program that we have here for you is that if you don't plug in yourself into this program and into what you need to give you a positive outlook on life and a positive outlook for your business, and it's the people that you hang out with and the music you listen to. And if you don't plug in to what you need to serve you, then you're going to run out of juice, just like my cell phone did today, and I'm sure yours has before. And then finally, we're going to ask you to take action. And if all you did in this 5-week program is just commit to taking some action, and let's say that you committed to making twice as many calls, like whatever your outgoing calls, appointment setting calls, to see twice as many prospects as you have in any other given 5-week period, then you are pretty much guaranteed that you're going to go ahead and get something very valuable out of this program. So we're going to ask that you do all of these things and you commit to them for the course of our 5 weeks together. And honey, you said you'd want to speak when I got to the end of the slide, so it's all you.
Woo-hoo! No, that's awesome. I think this is so important. I mean, if you just forget this class for the 5 weeks, I mean, if you apply this in life, which I'm sure many of you do, but it's one of these things that I have to constantly come back to. And actually, for me, the last 3 are the most important. I don't know if any of you are like this, but I have the tendency, or I have had the tendency in the past to always want the next thing and then beat myself up a bit, that I never did enough, or, I could have done more. And I just really didn't celebrate much, and it was really a few years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, that I really realized how important it is to celebrate every single step. And, I'm not going to mention names here, but someone who was in this program emailed me and she said, she started with, I didn't do this, and this. She basically beat herself up. And then she said, but I did, book 2 appointments. And I was like, yeah, I just emailed her a real short email back. I said, you booked 2 appointments. That is awesome. I mean, what if we just instead started with that? This is what I did. She booked 2 new appointments, looked at her list. She had some low-hanging fruit, looked at what kind of, what potential clients she had, and then she set 2 appointments. That is incredible. That's incredible. And you know who you are out there. That's incredible. So let's celebrate those things. Because if you go through these next 5 weeks, let alone your life, without celebrating all that stuff, you're missing the boat. You're really missing it. And I am, notorious for that. I used to be. Keep saying I used to be because I'm getting better all the time. But, I've had the tendency to really beat myself up and not celebrate those things. So I would request that you do that really intensely throughout this program. And let's focus on all the things that you do. Okay? Yeah. I said do. Ha. Okay, and the number 6 and 7, also extremely important to me. I'm just looking at the last 3 that are standing out for me. Plugging in. Imagine that the people that you hang out with, the amount of money that they make, the lives that they create, whether they create it by design or whether they let their lives control them, that environment, when people are stepping up around you and making more money and helping more people and living at a higher level, then you will be living at that level too. And I think of that with plugging in because we're like-minded people. We want more. We want more out of life. We want to help more people. We want to give more. And when you plug into that environment, and that's learning new stuff from experts, and we're going to essentially have some little surprises for you throughout the 5 weeks, a little extra excerpts from some other experts like millionaires that we hang out with, but plugging in with people who are at either a higher level or a high playing level like you want to be on. And then, of course, I have to just reiterate taking action because, just not many people talk about doing things, but they don't actually do it. And I'm going to tell you, there's going to be things in here that you already know. Yep, you're going to already know it and say, I know that, but you might also be saying, but I don't do that. Or I don't do that enough. So we'll often keep going back to what's the low-hanging fruit. When I do one-on-one calls, we're looking for the lowest hanging fruit, and oftentimes it's something you already know how to do. So we're going to capitalize on those things you know how to do, and then we're going to teach you these incredible skills of selling and serving and making a difference so that you can actually let people Like, get rid of their fears, or at least, throw down their fears, at least temporarily, so they can step into their greatness as well. And that all comes with taking action. So, carry on, my dear.
All right, we're moving along. So, in pursuit of mastery, we need to talk very briefly about what it is that actually mastery is. And along the lines of what Robin was just talking about, you want to celebrate your successes and your failures. According to Malcolm Gladwell, it takes 10,000 hours of full-time focus and application in order to achieve mastery. And many of us who go out to do anything, I don't care if it's play golf or whatever it is that you're going to do, we tend to become frustrated in our ability to create the results we want in the time frame we want to make it. And what we want to get in the habit of doing in this program is to celebrate your successes and your challenges along the way, and recognizing that it's those challenges that are actually what's necessary for you to create that mastery or that success. Now, what mastery really represents is that you get to a point where you're highly advanced in your competence. And we believe that there's 4 little parts of this. We call it a LEAP, L-E-A-P. You learn, experience, take action, and put things into practice. And this is also in your handout, so I'm going over it briefly. But today we're going to talk about the strategy, skills, and we're going to give you a lot of tools, templates, and guides. And we're going to want you to experience it by participating and interacting with us, as well as going out and, like I said, putting it into action. And we might give you an accountability partner. We're going to help you with your attitude. We have the 3 A's of action and the 3 P's of practice. So we believe that mastery is both a goal and a reward. And we want to give you that gift to give it to yourself and to share it to give it to others. And we're going to give you 100%. What we can promise is we're going to share with you everything we use beyond a shadow of a doubt that has helped us create the most influence and the greatest results possible. So we are just about to get into the meat of this, so if you haven't done this already, I would recommend that you grab a pen and piece of paper. In fact, having a success journal for this program would be highly valuable for you. And everybody do me a favor just real briefly, because you're sitting here. I don't know if you're in front of your computer or if you are driving in your car or whatever it is, but take a deep breath for me. Breathe in really deep and let it out. And one more deep breath in to try to stay awake, and pat yourself on the back and say, I'm awesome. And I'm doing it to myself, saying I'm awesome.
I'm awesome.
Because we're about to, thank you very much, honey. That sounds like I'm crazy talking to myself. Let's get into the first question that we have for you that is really important. And some of you have gotten your coaching questionnaires back to us, and we read those, and that becomes our way of getting to know everything about you, and that's really important. And if you haven't done that yet, make sure that you fill out that coaching questionnaire and get it back to us, because we will review that, and that's how we get to know you. Well, let's just talk about what is it that you want? Like, what do you want from this program? And most people, here's a fact, most people don't get what they want because, drum roll, anybody know? Because they don't know what they want. Or more specifically, potentially sometimes they don't even know where to get started or exactly, what to do. And so we want to go ahead and help you get that clarity. So take a moment right now, and if you could wave a magic wand and have anything you wanted. Now, what I mean specifically in this context is from this program. If you'd wave the magic wand and get anything you wanted out of this program, what would you want? What would it be? And take a moment right now. We're going to take a 60 seconds or so to actually write. We want you to do this right now. And even if you did the coaching questionnaire, just be specific. If at the end of this 5 weeks you looked back on it, what is it that you would hope to have accomplished in our time together? Take a moment now. This is where I typically have
Music?
Jeopardy music. Yeah, exactly, Jeopardy music. Maybe by the end of this, ultimately you would like some shiny things. I pulled these off of, some people say that they would like more money or to have more influence so they could get some stuff. Maybe you'd like to be an awesome guru. If you could figure out your influence. I love this. This was the love guru, I think. Yeah, that's, maybe you want to become a Zen master. I don't know what it is. Maybe you'd like more time doing what you want. Those aren't our feet, by the way, on the beach there. Just some ideas of what you would want from this program. Honey, anything to add on this before we move on to?
Can you hear my music?
No, I didn't hear it.
Yeah, try to play some music.
Okay.
So I do.
So we're going to move on. Sorry, honey?
Can you hear me? Yeah, I was just thinking, actually Trevor and I were talking about this the other day, and we were talking about how important it is to get very clear about what you want. And we were thinking back in our lives, just when we were very clear and very specific and actually wrote down what we wanted in any situation, whether it was, when I decided to, some of you know my story, some of you may not, but when I decided to pursue music. So I had written some songs. I had, wanted to make an album, and I remember I just decided. I was living in California at the time, and I just decided that I wanted to move to Philadelphia. I actually knew someone out in Philadelphia who had like a recording studio, and I thought, you know what? Hey, might as well go with, a connection. Go with go with my passion, and I just decided to move to Philadelphia. And I did, and my whole purpose really there was to create an album and follow my passion. And honestly, that's kind of as far as it went. I really didn't know, was I going to go there and, become the next Madonna? But that's probably not what I was thinking. Am I going to go there and, be just a singer-songwriter and kind of be on the road for a while? Am I going to go there and make it on, get a Grammy? I wasn't specific about it. But what I was specific about was that I wanted to follow my passion, and I was passionate about it at the time, and I did. I went to Philadelphia, and I was very, very clear. I knew that I wanted to, record an album. And what happened was I went to Philadelphia, and I ended up recording an album. Actually, in the end, after a while, I recorded a few, and I toured around a little bit, and that's kind of where it ended. And I'm glad it did. It led me to where I'm meant to be. But the lesson out of that is just, it is amazing. I just think back at the things that I decided to do and I had clarity around, whether it was like I traveled around the world. I just decided I was going to travel around the world. I did it. When we decided we were going to buy a house, we bought a house. We decided we were going to get a car, we got a car. When we decided we were going to go to Australia, we went to Australia. We made these decisions, but we made the decisions after we were clear about what we wanted. And there's certain things in our life, believe it or not, that we don't have, and we're like, what are those things? Because we haven't exactly, written it down or gotten total clarity around it, and so we don't have it. So in anything, this is in life in general, the more clear you are, the more likely you're going to get it. And I think of it also as a decision. So if you're looking at this, some of you guys, we read your coaching questionnaires, and some of you said you want to increase your price point. Some of you said you want to close more sales. How many more sales? How many more clients in the next 5 weeks? We have a very measurable time here. In the next 5 weeks, how many more clients do you want to get? At what specific price point do you want to get them at? What will having that do for you? When you're looking at these things like the guru and yoga and whatnot, yes, you want more sales. Yes, you want more money. Yes, you want to help more people. That's great. But what are you really after? How is it going to make you feel? What is it going to allow you to do? If you were to, you usually get maybe 2 clients a month. If you were to get 5, how would that drastically, change your own life? But more importantly, those 5 people, how is it going to dramatically affect their lives? The further you go into this and the more clarity you have, not only will we be able to measure it, like you guys, we're going to have you post this stuff on Facebook, like post it so we can see it and we can help you make that true. But not only are we going to be able to measure it, but also having that clarity is just by pure decision is going to help you reach those goals. Honey, back to you.
Thank you, honey. So did you call me Honey Bear just now?
I said, honey, back to you. Not honey bear, back to you.
Okay. I thought you might have said honey bear.
Do you want me to call you
honey
bear?
No, not necessarily. I'm going to move on here. We have sales belief systems, and I'm going to cover these. These are, if you're looking on your handouts, I believe this is handout page number 5, and there are 3 lies of sales. And I'm going to also share a little story about my own personal challenge with sales that was more recent than I would like to admit. But one of the lies of sales is that selling is hard. And that's, a lot of people believe that lie. And we believe it is definitely a lie, or that it takes a certain type of person. And specifically, if you ever have had this experience of thinking the sales are hard, or you weren't making the sale, that it just takes a certain type of person, we also have a tendency to hear the lie that people don't like to be sold to, when the truth is that people love to buy when they are sold to well. And I'll share with you, most recently, actually this was probably a couple of years ago, but there was a time that I understood all of the principles that we're sharing with you today. This is a process that we actually had to learn and master and apply. And in a very humble way, there was a point in my life where I had to file a big bankruptcy. To me it was big. It was over $2 million. And I ended up going from having made a fortune and being able to do anything I wanted and go anywhere I wanted to, at a point I had to rebuild everything. And I went out and I actually had to influence people to buy something from me. And the truth was I understood all of this stuff logically. But I met with 20 individuals in a row who really, really, really needed and wanted to buy the service that I was offering them. And the worst part about this, ladies and gentlemen, is that 20 people in a row said no to me. And the truth is on that last slide, we're asking, what is it that you really want? I definitely wanted to make the sale because I needed to financially. I needed to get my own confidence back, and I believed in the service that we were providing. But I'll tell you what was the killer for me. And these lies of sales came and hit me hard. I started to believe selling was hard, that I was the wrong kind of person. And everybody that I was talking to, I believed these lies and many others. But it wasn't until I embraced all of the steps that we're going to share with you and really apply them and be flexible to not say all that stuff that we came up with as far as some of we're going to talk about some of the belief systems right now that I had that were holding me back. But here's the cool thing. Had I not had that experience of 20 people in a row telling me no and really gotten associated to why I wanted to get good at influence and persuasion, the truth was for me it was not about the sales for me. What I was really hurt by was that all the people that needed my service that said no, and I just didn't know how to give them permission to say yes. And it still pains me to this day when I think about how many people I just didn't give the information that they needed to say yes. So let's move on to the rest of the sales belief systems here. This is also in your handouts. We believe that sales belief systems stands for BS. So the question is, what is your BS? And what we're going to ask you to do right now and write down any of the BS, your belief systems around sales that comes up for you. And then during this 5 weeks, if something comes up, we have a new one-on-one client that I've been working with, and she started telling me about the application of some of the principles we're talking to you, we'll share with you today and in the weeks to come. And she said, Trevor, I just don't like and I hate this, and this. And she mentioned all of this stuff that selling was, all of her bad experiences selling in the past. And was really interesting is none of the stuff she was talking about did she and I actually discuss doing to any of her clients at all. But she felt that when she was offering her service, she's actually a newborn baby photographer. And she's like, when she's offering her service to people, she took on all these characteristics of yucky, uncomfortable sales stuff. And so the same exercise I gave her, we're going to give you today, which is write down what that stuff is. What is it that shows up for you about belief systems? Here's some examples. Maybe it might be that you're bad at selling, or you think, I don't like to sell. These are phrases that you might say that are like I in them, right? Like Robin was mentioning, I already know that. Like, we're going to share some stuff with you, and you may be listening to the basic principles we've shared with you so far. You're like, I get it. I got it. I already know this stuff. Well, that's great. I knew it too, but I missed 20 sales in a row because I didn't apply these principles and make some changes and get flexible. We might share some stuff with you that you would say, this doesn't apply to me and not to my profession or not what I sell. And what we're going to ask is that you try to find a way to apply it. The truth is these principles are the same regardless of whether or not it's about trying to get in life, your family to do what you want them to do, or if it's in business as well. So we're going to ask that you write these down for the 5 weeks that we're together and that you try to capture these. Honey, would you like to add anything else?
Yeah, this is the most important thing, okay? Please do not, go past this. Your beliefs around sales, your beliefs around money is everything. The reason you don't have the money that you want right now has to do with your beliefs. The reason you don't have the life that you want has to do with your beliefs. If you have the life you want but you want more, has to do with your beliefs. So your beliefs are everything. It's, makes the difference between what you have and what you don't have in life that, that you're living. This has to do with your beliefs. So don't take this lightly. It's really, really important that you spend time around this. And if you're not sure, so one of my, old go-tos was like, well, I don't know. Like, and I would go to these seminars and I didn't know how to answer these questions. And I'm like, I don't know. What is it costing me? I don't know what my sales beliefs are. So sometimes it's hard to find that, but search for it. And the easy way to do that actually is to think about what feedback you have ever gotten around sales. So, for example, I remember, again, some of you know my story. After I was a singer-songwriter, I became a financial planner. And as you can imagine, going from singer-songwriter to financial planner, I didn't have a lot of money. I definitely didn't have any assets, and I went into debt for the first time as a financial planner. But I'm telling you that because as I started and I wasn't good at sales, what came up for me the most, I remember coming up for me the most, was that, that I didn't want to be pushy. And I remember talking to my boss about it, and I'm like, I don't want to be pushy. I don't want, they would teach me things. I'm like, I don't want to be pushy. And guess what? The feedback that I got when people said no was that I was pushy. And I was like, I really don't want to be pushy. I don't want to be pushy. But I was so focused on not wanting to be pushy that that's exactly how I was portrayed. So if you have heard, people say, oh, you're pushy, or oh, it just seems like, you're really expensive, or it doesn't seem worth it, or whatever. Ask yourself that when you're in a position to buy, whether you go buy a car, whether you go buy a dress, or whether you go, buy a seminar, what is coming up for you? What's coming up for you? Do you feel pressured? If you feel pressured, maybe people are feeling pressured by you as well. Because it's like a mirror. It's exactly like a mirror. So you can start to see as it unfolds throughout this time, but start writing those down because it's incredible how much it's like exactly mirrors what you believe is what like people will say.
Thank you, Robin. And Robin and I, for the last year and a half, have been speaking to a lot of local groups in and around Jersey, and actually we spoke in Australia. We did it in Hawaii. We've been asked to go out and speak at a big convention in Las Vegas for a couple of days, and one of the amazing things we've encountered with all these audiences and the rooms when we've taught our seminars is how scared to death people are around some of their beliefs of sales. Or when, Robin, you mentioned the freaky-deaky, that people get freaky-deaky about money, they get freaky-deaky about sales and what people are going to think. And, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. Like you said, Robin, this is the most important thing. I mean, what's the relationship between you're having these beliefs, whatever they are, whatever negative context they have, and you not having what you want in your life? What's that relationship? And I would challenge you that it's directly proportional. I mean, we've gotten very aggressive about just being authentic with people about how much their fears are holding them back from what it is that they really want. So like Robin said, this is not, I mean, you could real easily skip over this and go, it's not costing me much. But for me, and everybody's different, so every human being on the planet is going to be unique and different. Like I shared with you, when I missed 20 sales in a row, what really got to me wasn't about me. I have never really cared that much about money. I mean, I've made good money in the past, and it's interesting. It's just I didn't really ever seem to care. In fact, there was one time I billed a client over $80,000, and they didn't pay me, and I kept doing the service for a long time. And it was because I had just made this promise that I would keep doing the service. Robin would kill me if that ever happened these days. But I just care so much about other people and helping other people. What it was for me, when I answered this question for me, is what it was costing all the people that I was interacting with. And that was, it hurt me because I felt like I was hurting them. And it wasn't until I made that shift that I actually was being selfish by not figuring out how to give them permission to buy from me, that it was a shift of meaning. So it's not just about what you want, which was the first slide, right? It's what did you want? That was our first, write it down. What do you want out of this program? It's what's keeping you from that right now. What is that for you? For me, I felt uncomfortable about talking about, and when we go ahead and do our next call, we're going to talk about the ultimate sales formula. And I think everybody that's listening to this has heard our ultimate sales formula. We're going to go into that in detail on the next call, helping you customize that script. But the reason people do anything, whether it is they buy or don't buy, or whatever it is, are basically two primary reasons. People are either moving towards pleasure, that which they want, or away from pain. It's all about pain and pleasure. And so when we ask you, what did you want, we're asking you, what would give you pleasure? And we want you to get very clear about that outcome. The more clarity you have, the more powerful that message is. And you want to help your clients or new prospective clients get totally clear about the ultimate pleasure, elation, and joy and value that they're going to get from buying your service or from doing whatever it is you're trying to influence them to do that will hopefully serve them, right? Or if you're not going to be serving them, then get the heck out of here. This is the wrong program for you. But then we also want to help them get associated to their pain. And I'll be straight up with you. What my problem was in the sales formula when I learned this stuff is I did not like having people associate to their pain. And the reason we're stopped on this silly slide showing a BS cow in the background and a whole bunch of people who look unhappy on this slide is because it is the most important thing in our opinion. It's, understanding also this first call is all about you getting clear about what it's going to take to influence yourself, to sell yourself, to take action, to have the impact in this world that you want to have. Just imagine what your life could be like if you got authentic about what this stuff is. And for me, I was so uncomfortable with having people associate to their own pain As soon as they told me what they didn't want, I completely tried to distract them from it. And I kept trying to solve their problem, like, hey, well, don't feel all that bad. Buy from me. I will totally help you with that. And the truth is, I missed out on that second part of the equation. It's pain and pleasure. And I wanted to focus so much on the pleasure that I didn't give them permission to focus on the truth of what it was really costing them to not make a decision and take action to change their circumstances. In fact, every time they started to get emotional about it or to associate to it, I completely took them out of it. And Robin and I were just dating at the time, and I remember I was so upset. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, I was an absolute wreck because I was just person after person after person. I felt like I was missing these sales and like I was punching them in the face. I started to associate that it was like I was the most evil person on the planet because I was hurting them because I knew they needed my help and I wasn't giving them permission. And it was because I didn't help them associate to what it was costing them, the truth. So we're spending a little bit of extra time on this segment right here so that you take the time to truly do this as far as your homework. Right now, to write down what is it really costing you. What is it that is meaningful to you? Are there people that you're not able to hang out with? Are there dreams that you had that you gave up on? What is it for you and your relationships to these beliefs about sales, whatever they are, whatever your own BS systems are that's holding you back? And it doesn't have to be only about sales. It's whatever it is that's holding you back. What is that relationship between that and you not having what you want? Again, I challenge you that it is significant.
One of the things
Honey?
that I definitely, one of the themes that definitely noticed while reading some of the coaching questionnaires is the stress level. For those of you who have done it, you saw that we asked that question because it has, on a scale of 1 to 10, how stressed are you, right? And many of you were 7 and above, and 6, 7 and above, right? And when you think about, and a lot of it was because of money, right? Now, there's a lot of reasons to be stressed, and it's a stressful world out there. But if we could change that energy, into something positive, which maybe sounds a little bit airy-fairy, but instead of being stressed, like I said, instead of being fearful, be excited. Instead of being stressed, be moved to take action. Because what is it costing you? If you're stressed all the time, if you're 6, 7, 8, 9 stress level, I know we have a tendency, Americans, we don't, probably not just Americans, the world, we don't deal with our health until it's so bad that, we're in disease and we're dying, basically. Then that's when people, realize it's time to take care of our health. Why do I say that? Because, the leading cause of, health challenges is stress. I'm getting into a whole different realm, but it's if you really ask yourself, because this is so much more than sales, right? If you really ask yourself, what is it costing you? What is it costing you? Is it costing your health? Are you stressed all the time because of this? What is it costing you? Is it costing you, losing clients? It's not just the money, as Trevor keeps mentioning. It's all the people that you can help and all the people that they will help. I have talked to most of you, and I've read your questionnaires, and it's amazing. The caliber of people here, it's incredible. And to think, what we get so excited about is to think of you guys taking this on, getting enough leverage, really associating to how much it's costing you and what are these beliefs and what can I really do to shift my mindset and make a difference. Because for someone like you guys, with this caliber that's committed and motivated to do something incredible in the world, we want to help you guys get there because we see the huge impact. And our lives are about impact. We want to impact people. We want to transform lives. And we're putting, some of you might be thinking, oh, gosh, this is really heavy. But this is what life is all about. Life is all about this. To me, it's all about helping people. So the more leverage you can get on yourself, the more you will succeed in this program, the more money you will make, the more people you will help, the bigger impact you will have. whether it's on other people, whether it's on your own life and how you interact with your family and your relationship with your kids. Everything has that impact. So this is huge, guys, huge. And it's exciting because it's the power that you will have and what you can create with this is incredible. So go ahead, hon.
All right. Well, that was pretty heavy. Woo! We nailed that. Okay, take a deep breath. I want to slap myself in the face like, oh, my gosh, I splashed water on my face. Okay, so let's move into what we believe sales really are. And it's very simple here. I'm going to capture these 3 sentences of sales is the blank of a match. We'll go ahead and, cover these quickly. Sales is the discovery of a match. And that's truly all you're doing. When we teach the ultimate sales formula, we pretend like you're Sherlock Holmes. You're just trying to ask a lot of questions and figure out if this person's a match. We play a game at our seminars for Sales Mastery where we hand out playing cards and we shake hands around the room, and you try to walk around the room and find your match. Like if you're holding a 10, you're looking for a 10. If someone's holding a 2, you're looking for a 2. And you walk around the room, and we really play the game of discovering whether or not this is a match. And we try to turn this into a game so we can have fun. And we really believe that you're giving people a gift. If, people love to buy, so if you give them something that they really need or they really want, people love to buy excellence, and they love to be sold well. In fact, isn't it true that you probably have bought things at some point in your life that, you didn't necessarily want or need, but just because you really wanted to, you liked the other person? I mean, when the girls come to my door and sell me Girl Scout cookies, I'm toast. I like them so much that I want to help them out. So we want to go ahead and make sure that we focus on some better belief systems for you. So that's what I would ask you, is what other new and belief systems could you come up with that would support you best? For me, I had to look at selling as being serving. And I had to look at not making the sale. This is just for me. I was more motivated by pain than pleasure. I mean, I'll move very strongly to avoid pain. Hugely, like immediately. And in fact, this is the key, ladies and gentlemen, when you're looking at influence, it's one of the things that will get people to act right away, is if you get them to associate to what it is they don't want, where they associate to it. And so you want to know what those beliefs are. So for me, it was that I was hurting people if I didn't get them to buy. But we're also talking about the beliefs that would support you best. So what else would you need to believe is that making sales actually means what to you? So make sure you write some of these down. Again, if you're following on your handout, this is in page 8. You can jot the notes down there, or in your success journal. What beliefs would support you best? Robin, anything you'd like to add here?
I think these are really, really helpful. I think when I was getting feedback and that I was pushy or I wasn't making a lot of sales and people felt uncomfortable because I felt uncomfortable, these, especially 1 and 2, especially the discovery of a match and thinking that what I had to offer was a gift, completely shifted my world. I mean, when I got unattached to whether or not they said yes, and I was just like, wow, this is just, it's a fit or it's not, and that's cool. And I got really unattached to it. And when I went into it with the intention of I have so much to offer. I'm giving this gift. I'm going to help them in the financial realm. I'm going to help them buy a house and send their kids to college and retire. And I'm giving them a clear path to do that. And this is a gift. And if it's a fit, it's a fit. If not, move on. And that helped me so much, so much. Total shift.
You know what? There's a phrase that I like about sales. You may have heard it before. It is, some will, some won't, so what, next. Some will, some won't, so what, next. And you just don't know. There's another phrase about you're sorting people. You're just trying to sort through them, and it's called sifting and sorting. so you can sift and sort. I actually read a book one time called Go for No, and I learned that, like, what belief system would help me is that I now celebrate a no more strongly than I do a yes. Because as much as one of the things that I had to associate to about sales to, like, get me to learn to master this system really was the truth. I needed to practice it enough to get to master it and stop making this, a couple of the mistakes I was making. But I also needed to embrace, to believe that the people who chose not to buy, that it's a good thing that they didn't buy, instead of, like, taking on this, oh, no, what did I do wrong? I mean, one of my clients right now, who's a one-on-one client, gets so upset. She spoke on TV just recently, and I was talking with her about how she could do a better job, what she did great, and what she could do to improve her performance while she was on TV. And she did a phenomenal job. And after the TV show, she had some people visit her website, and she had, let's say, 12 people email her right away. And of those 12 people that were kind of like kicking the tires, saying that they might be interested in buying something from her, like, some of them bought, and some of them said, I want to know something about your prices, and then they never got back to her. So she responded and said, well, here's some information about my prices, and let's set a time to talk. And we had a phone conversation, and she was so upset that these people didn't set an appointment with her. And, in fact, she told me another story about how she got some referrals from people who she had an initial conversation with them, and they said, we would love to get your service. We'd love to buy your product. And she said, great, let's set up our next call. And then they fell off the face of the planet. And so she was talking to me about how she had, I think it was 12 people reach out to her. She made 3 sales, and the other 9 people or whatever it was never even returned her email or set the next appointment. And she was so upset and had convinced herself that she was doing all this stuff that was wrong. But the truth was, like, who knows what the truth is? They just didn't call her back. She has no idea. And I would challenge each of you to consider, in these couple of examples, what it is that would serve you. What better beliefs could you come up with? And I gave her several examples of, like, Robin and I were looking to buy a car, and I reached out to a whole bunch of people saying I was interested in buying their car. And they emailed me back or called and left messages. But I'll tell you guys, I did not have the time to take all of those inbound calls. I probably reached out and sent 12 emails or more, and then I didn't have the time to take all of those calls. Now, they could have been all mad and upset, but I was just busy. And they could hate me all they want to hate me or think they're doing it wrong. I mean, we ended up buying our car today. So we went and solved that problem. Like, we were definitely a buyer. But there's a lot of stuff that could happen. Another very good friend of mine and a gentleman I've known for going on 10 years now had an example. He just lost a member of his family. His grandson was killed in a car accident. He and I had a scheduled call, and surprisingly, he picked up the phone. I couldn't believe it, but he was right in the middle of his grief and dealing with his daughter who had lost her son in a car accident. And, you never know what's going on with another human being, why they say yes, why they say no, why they show up or don't show up. So I would challenge you to, maybe you want to celebrate the no's. That if somebody says no for any reason, maybe they would have been such a pain in the butt you wouldn't have wanted to have them as a client. And that sometimes it just isn't a match, and that's okay. But we want to give you the skills and the strategies that you can use so that you can feel comfortable and confident and rely on them so that you know you're doing it right. When you find the right person who is looking for your stuff, that you give them permission to buy now, and they actually can't wait to do it. And that will happen too. So this little exercise here is on the positive side of what it is that would be beliefs that would support you best. So I want to go on. I'm looking at our time on our call, and we are operating perfectly on time, except that we were 10 minutes late getting this call started, which was my bad on technology. So stick with us for the next 10 minutes, and we should be finishing up. Just as a little heads up, we've got the next most important part. Honey, anything to add before I move on to their action plan?
Well, I just had a great segue into the action plan because I was just thinking as you were saying that, brilliant, honey, brilliant. I was thinking just about the key to all of this, because you're going to get a lot of no's, is to just keep taking action and to keep going, to persevere through it all. Because, as whether you get no's or you get a match, you get excited. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I get excited one day and then I get, pushed down another, and then I got to come back up, come up for air again. And, that's the story of my life sometimes. Like, you get pushed around, but what I think is consistent is that I keep going, and just expect those things. Expect a bit of a roller coaster. You own your own business. It's tough. It's tough out there. And it's also, very exciting because now you have the opportunity to have financial freedom and to really, have the life you want, which not everybody has. So it all has to do with the action. And that's what we're going to give you right now, your action plan. I don't even know if we need 10 more minutes, but we'll give you your action plan so you know what to do specifically, so we can get you moving and doing stuff before we have our next call next week.
Absolutely. Thank you, honey. And so write this down, ladies and gentlemen. What we want to go ahead and your action plan or your homework for this next week, and we've covered them briefly, but let's summarize them here. Number one, most important thing is that you get really, really specific about what you want. What do you want out of this program? What do you want out of the sales that you make moving into the next month? We're going to be starting off at the top of the month this week. So what do you want to accomplish next month, in a week, whatever it is? How many more clients do you want? Be as specific as possible. And let's go ahead and add another one in here. And this is about why you want it. And I threw in a huge picture of, I think, the sexiest family in the world because this is why, this is what we want. We want to spend more time doing the things we love. Like, we went to Australia this last year. That's our puppy, Moxie. Honey, I did throw in a picture of the dog, so I know you love that.
Yay, she looks so tiny there.
What is it that you want, and why do you want it? I mean, these are different programs that we have been at, and like some of the small talks that we've given, or the live seminars and events that we've done. One of those is the red shirts. There was when we were in Australia speaking at a group there, and it was phenomenal about what we wanted to do. And then we also, Robin and I were talking about a new goal we have about earning 7 figures, and to do so in a very short period of time. And as much as we were talking about it being a cool goal, like, okay, let's earn 7 figures in X period of time, I'm not going to share with you yet because I want to make sure that she and I are totally committed to this specific result that we want to create. But this is a picture of when we were in Australia and we were giving back. This is one of the most important things to us. And Robin said, Trevor, I'm not willing to commit to a goal of 7 figures. Actually, that's not true. She said, what would make it even better? She's like, I'm much more excited about going out and earning an extra 7 figures in such and such a period of time if we are able to give 10% of that away. So she doesn't want to make an extra $1 million until she knows that we're going to do it for a cause, that we want to pick the right cause and give $100,000 away in a period of time. And this is when we gave the Surf Aid, and we helped a whole village that buys this group called Surf Aid buys these mosquito nets to help protect children in villages in Indonesia and in places around the world where these surfers used to go to catch waves, and they saw the suffering that was going on around the world. So be specific. I mean, what do you want? I mean, I believe that the gift of life is so that you have the ability to contribute. What are you going to contribute? What difference are you going to make? And be as specific as you can. What do you want, and why do you want it? I'm also going to brag here because I had the pictures up and they were handy. Robin and I got to go to Mexico this last year to spend time. I think we took 3 months of vacation off last year to do all kinds of fun stuff. And our daughter got to swim with dolphins, and that was a giraffe, actually, that accidentally French kissed me, which is not my goal. So what do you want, and why do you want it, so that you can have more impact in the world. It's just so utterly important. And then we also talked about, I'm going to go back here, about your belief systems. This is the third part of your homework, is what belief systems do you need that would serve you? Maybe they're these. Maybe there's other ones that you need to create. What belief systems would support you best? This is the third part of your homework. Number 1, what do you want? Number 2, why? Number 3, what belief systems do you need that will serve you best? And then the BS ones. What is it really costing you would be the fourth part of this. And get crystal clear, because it is the carrot and the stick. And before you can learn how to influence another human being, you first must learn how to influence yourself. That is one person that you do have some ability to influence, so we are trying to give you the tools of influence right here. It is pain and it is pleasure. That at a core base level, that's all that it is. And you get the phenomenal opportunity to pick that which you want most, why you want it. The more you can associate to that, the better your fuel. Consider your why as being your fuel, both the pain and the pleasure. And don't make the mistake I made, which was ignore the pain. To ignore the pain for yourself, or to ignore it in your client. In fact, and this may sound like it's not very serving, but the truth is much of sales and influence is discovering a pain or a problem that somebody has, magnifying that problem, getting them to associate to what it's truly costing them, and then lead them to a place of solution. Give them the alternative, which is hopefully you, their lifesaver, to truly lead them out of that pain, to the pleasure that they really, really desire. So these are the 4 points of the homework that we wanted you to come up with, and I promise you, and I guess there's a fifth one. I also had mentioned this. It is about action. So it is about what are you going to do to get into action. And, at a bare minimum, we're going to ask that for this time frame that we're spending, this 5 weeks that we're together, do whatever it takes to double your activity. The action that puts you in front of prospects. Double that activity, and you're going to get some phenomenal results. Especially if you get clear about what you want and why you want it. This is a way to live your life that will be extremely valuable to you long term. Honey, anything else to add there?
No, go ahead. Keep going. I'll talk briefly about Facebook before we end, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, then the last thing I'd like to share with everybody is just logistically, I'm going to go ahead and just move the screen here, and we're going to get to this last part. Logistically, what we're asking you to do is to go out and take some action. We gave you 5 little steps there. Be very specific about what you want, why you want it. Robin, maybe if you can ask everybody to share those findings on Facebook and also by email, that would be fabulous, so we can hear about what it is that you want, why you want it, what the belief systems are that are holding you back and keeping you from that which you want so much, as well as the belief systems that are going to serve you. Maybe you celebrate the no's more than you do the yeses, which actually I'm crazy at this point. I've done that so much. Sometimes it happens and Robin freaks out, why are you getting so excited? And I'm like, because that was a no. Thank God I don't have to deal with this person anymore. So what are the beliefs that are going to help you? And finally, what is the action specifically that you're going to commit to? And I'll give you a little hint here. When you schedule the action, you put it down on your calendar, you pull it out and you write it in a pencil, or you put it on your phone, or however you organize your life right now, and you schedule it, you make it real. So please, please, please take action. And the last thing is, we will do this call same time, same channel next week, except I promise no technical difficulties, so we'll start right on time and we'll finish right on time. These calls should last an hour, and I think we are just over that time span here. So over to you, Robs.
Okay, so just I will post those specific questions on Facebook, so we'll have our own Facebook page. So what I need you guys to do is just to Facebook me. So become my Facebook friend so that I can add you to the private page. If you just look up on Facebook, Robin, I think it's under Robin Harris Crane. So you can see the spelling of my name on the screen there, Harris Crane, C-R-A-N-E. You should find me. If anyone has trouble friending me on Facebook, then just email me at robin@robinandtrevor.com. But otherwise, let's stick to posting everything on Facebook so everyone can benefit. And then, of course, if you have personal questions, then you can always email that directly. Otherwise, plan on posting it. We'll post up the specific action plan. And you guys can get moving, and we will see you next week. So thank you so much. We're so looking forward to this time with you and can't wait to see all the progress. So take care, guys. Signing off.
Talk to you next week, guys.